So we're going to be jumping into today's latest sneaker news updates, including the release from Nike today, which sneakerheads say they absolutely botched. We got an upcoming release from Jordan Brand, which it kind of feels like nobody's talking about these, but my hope is that with this upcoming release, it's actually going to cause the resale prices for a particular Jordan Brand quote-unquote grail, which we saw released earlier this year, to actually drop. So stay tuned, as all of your favorite brands will be making an appearance today to kick things off. We're going to start with the Kobe 9 Elite Low Protro Moonwalker, which you guys see on the feet right here of WNBA star Caitlin Clark. This is a sneaker which last month we did actually learn that this sneaker would be pushed back as far as the release until October, but of course in typical Nike fashion they caused confusion, as we did see select retailers actually release these today, as this was the original scheduled drop date. So of course these did sell out instantly. This is a shoe which the name Moonwalker, I'm thinking like these gotta be something special, which it feels like Kobe fans really appreciate the shade of color featured on this sneaker, which has become one of basketball's most popular silhouettes. So if you missed out on today's drop, it looks like the October release date still is a go for Nike, and it's just a matter of if they're gonna actually drop these via the sneakers app or say through just like the standard Nike app. So salute if you were able to successfully grab these ones today. Kind of a surprise release for a lot of people. Now, as far as other high profile releases, we do have the Sushi Club Air Force One, which the equal raffle did go live today. Now, this is a shoe which, when you talk about Sushi Club, this is a lifestyle brand for popular restaurant Nobu. This is one which brings simplicity as well as elegancy to this classic Nike silhouette. So as far as the equal raffle, you guys have a little over a day to enter. Retail on these is $150, as I mentioned, more of a premium take on the classic Air Force One, featuring 3 different types of leather featured on the upper, as well as these kind of little silver hits, which also pay homage to the popular restaurant. So that's a cool one. Not really for everybody, but an interesting addition to the Nike lineup. So that's a cool one. Now, as far as other releases today, we did see the Whitaker Group team up with New Balance, which previously, continuing that partnership, the last time we saw them release, it was a 990 V4, which is kind of a cool release. This one, they're dropping on the 740, which when you talk about Whitaker Group releases, they usually like to bring like kind of more premium materials, storytelling, heritage to these releases right here, which that's cool and all that. Like, I see what they did right here, but for me, like, rather than picking these up, I'd much rather just pick up like the $20 Avia joints, from Walmart. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about. And speaking of New Balance collaborations, Bronson has dropped visuals for his next upcoming 992, which he's calling Tiger Eyes. So it looks like we actually have 2 992s coming from Bronson. So it looks like this will be the first of the pack. And when you talk about his collaborations, these pretty much just look like bruh took some acid, went out to the woods, tripped balls, and just pretty much came up with like the first image that popped up in his head. So it looks like this is just another version of one of those. These are cool or whatever. I would say when you talk about Bronson collabs, the other one maybe is a little more interesting than this one. But as far as the release details, email alerts are going out to everybody, warning of a September drop. It's just the exact date is unknown as of now, but these are going to be dropping very soon, before the month's over. So keeping things moving, switching gears over to Adidas. It looks like we do have another upcoming Pharrell collaboration in the works. So as you guys know, the Jellyfish, or the Adistar cushion, one of the more polarizing releases of the sneaker scene here in 2025, one which made a lot of people re-download that Confirmed app, right? So it looks like we do now have confirmation of some other colorways as well as release dates. So you have the solid gray core black version, which is pretty much just a muted out version, set to drop October 1st. And we also have the Focus Olive core black, which adds a green take to this popular model, which is set to release coming up October 11th for a retail of $300. But I would say, based off these new colorways, they lack to really add the same flair that we saw on that original orange pair, which I feel like is a signature, with the whole jellyfish theme and everything. So while I'm sure some people will gravitate towards these models, I just feel like they're not, as good looking as that original OG pair with the orange right here. But as you can imagine, based off the fact that more so than likely, these are probably going to be limited, I'm guessing there's going to be a high demand for both of these upcoming releases, which we're going to see, looks like hitting the Confirmed app coming up very soon in October. And speaking of Adidas, we just talked about Fear of God and how they're going to be dropping those Derrick Rose joints. So it looks like that's not it, as we have the 2.5 from Fear of God Athletics and Adidas, which Sneaker News is saying Jerry Lorenzo saving the best for last, possibly alluding to that this could be the last model that we see dropping from the Adidas Fear of God partnership. If it is the case, I would say they're going out pretty much in a good way. I like what these look like right here, featuring what looks like kind of like a translucent upper on the Fear of God 2. So this is pretty much what I would expect from a Fear of God release. Also, you have the zipper on the upper. These definitely look dope. I just feel like Fear of God missed the mark, as far as their collaboration. They took a little bit too long, when the hype was at an all-time high. Plus, the prices are a little bit just too crazy. So I guess we could say that as far as the Adidas Fear of God partnership, it definitely didn't live up to the full potential. And I would have said probably a better way to go about it maybe would have been to drop, like, say, a Fear of God, Adidas, say, like an Essentials release, something like that. Maybe something a little more affordable, but still with some of the same design elements. But as far as these, they're not bad looking, but again, another Fear of God Adidas collaboration. They're more so than likely months after the drop, you're going to be able to grab these joints discounted on sale. And then lastly, that brings us to a Jordan Brand release, a highly anticipated upcoming drop, one which we heard of earlier this year, but in the months leading up to the release, it feels like things have gone absolutely quiet until recently. KicksFinder did confirm the release date of November 1st, which means the re-release of the Jordan 1 High Bred 85 is actually right around the corner. Now, this is the sneaker which made a whole bunch of noise earlier this year, dropping in February around NBA All-Star Weekend for $250, paying homage to that original OG Jordan band Bred release. The only issue was they made these extremely limited, releasing at just select neighborhood locations across the country with no online release. Now, earlier this year, we did also get a report from Sneaker News saying that these shoes would be re-releasing, to which shortly afterwards, Complex, they reached out to some of their sources at Jordan Brand to confirm that a release definitely would be happening. But rather than a traditional restock, they're saying that this is going to be a special one, which adds some additional elements to this upcoming drop. What those elements are, I can't tell you, but again, earlier this year, one that a lot of people missed out on, and with a November release right around the corner, I think this is one that's going to actually cause resale prices to dip. Remember earlier this year, this is a shoe which they were rolling out the red carpet for. People were like wearing tuxes and everything, getting picked up in like limos and stuff like that to grab this shoe, which they were reflection on everybody else. They didn't have a chance to be able to get these. Because remember, not everybody has a neighborhood location, in their select areas. So again, this is a shoe which many people across the country missed out on as far as the exact stock numbers, rumors floating around of 10,000, some people saying 23,000 pairs, but what we just know is that they didn't make enough pairs to go around. Now, I have a prediction that if these do actually re-release, that we're gonna see resale prices dip, right? When you talk about a sneaker like the Jordan 1, like there ain't no Jordan 1s dropping nowadays that bring in these crazy resale prices. So is this a case, of a sneaker which the hype was just more so due to the limited availability and the fact that these were hard to get? Or was it a true Jordan Brand grail that people were waiting on years, to come back? My guess is it's probably the latter, but more so due to the fact of the scarcity and limited availability, because it's not a bad shoe, right? Classic shoe, one that a lot of people wanted to grab, but just due to the fact that there was no online major release, it caused prices to go crazy, which at one point they were going for like $600-800. It's kind of crazy to see that the market has kind of came down on these, as some prices are going below $300, in smaller sizes, bigger sizes in that $400 range. So I would hope that if we do see that re-release, well, it is now, it looks like it's pretty much confirmed for November, to see prices definitely dip, because this is a good one, right? So that's all I got for you guys today. Jordan 1 Bred 85 release confirmed for November. Band Day is also coming up sometime in October, so that would have made sense as well, but we know these should definitely be dropping coming up sometime this fall. So as far as today's updates, let me know what you guys think about the upcoming releases. Did you have any success on the Kobe's today?